Hello everyone, welcome to a podcast here on our channel. I was not planning to do one of these, but then I had this idea in my head. I wanted to do one, so we're here now with Rover because I kind of wanted a second input on this. So we're going to be here talking about some stuff, mainly 1.14, our kind of like our feelings on it, as well as like some other stuff. So we're going to be talking about new textures and our ideas for 1.15. So first of all, I think we're going to start off maybe talking about kind of like the thing 1.14 as a whole. So like, what's your favorite feature and stuff like that? Is there anything that's kind of like stood out for you?
Hello. I think for the moment overall, I am enjoying 1.14's progress. But I don't feel like I'm as hyped as I am for 1.13. I think 1.13 was such a drastic change because we were so used to just ocean floors of gravel and nothing else. And I think I was just more excited for that. I mean, I'm not lying. I am excited for this update, but not as much as 1.13 because I think I just enjoyed that one too much, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, like I think 1.14 is kind of like lacking the exploration that 1.13 had. Like it only changing villages. I mean, like it's not like villages are getting any like more common, and there's only one use structure other than that, which is like the pillager outpost, which is like right next to the village. So, I mean, in terms of like exploration, it's not giving you too much extra, I guess.
Yeah, and I think it would be nice, again, when you come across a village. And I think the thing about the ocean update was that everything's different. You go to a coral reef, every coral reef looks different. It's all in different locations, and I just think there's something about it that's a little bit different to this update. Where it is, yeah, you'll see a village, you'll see some nice combinations of villages, but yeah, you kind of get used to it like the old villages. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, they are a lot better than they used to be,
Yeah.
but there's a certain limit to how good they can get.
Yeah. So I mean, like the new villages are looking really nice though, because I think as a builder, I think the sandstone ones, the desert ones, are definitely really nice. I really like the designs for those. Same with the spruce ones. I think apart from that, I think the actual savanna ones they look quite nice, but the mix between the terracottas I don't think works too well. Don't know about you though, because
Yeah, I know
obviously,
what you mean.
yeah.
I see why it's been done. In a way, I quite like it because I like the variation of it. I like how you go to a desert village, it's at sandstone, all those kind of blocks. You
Yeah.
go to a savanna village at the clay, and I quite like that because it kind of
Yeah.
looks more adapted and fits in the environment better than the old villages were, rather than
Yeah.
the same buildings just out of a different colour of wood.
Yeah, because I mean, like the actual sandstone ones, I think they've got like a really nice kind of shape to it. I think there's some really nice ones. I can't remember the name of the one. It's the kind of I think it's the grindstone one. When the grindstone that looks really nice, layers and stuff. Kind of like reminds me of some sort of Pueblo village.
Mm.
And the spruce ones I think is really nice. Kind of definitely feels like you're deep inside the woods and you're kind of with all the campfires and stuff. But yeah,
Yeah.
it looks
One thing
really
I do
nice.
like is I like the variations between two villages. Like for one village, so I think it's the savannah. They've got them some raised up on stilts. I think
Yeah.
other ones they've got kind of more dug into the ground and in snowy biomes. So I think I like the variation. I really do like the variation on it.
Yeah. So talking about like favorite features or anything that, like stood out to you in this update and like, wow, I'm psyched for this. Like,
One
this is
thing
gonna be
I
cool.
am excited for, I just love the new villager textures. I really like them.
Yeah.
And I am excited for their new AI. I can't wait to see what that is because we've kind of seen that a little bit on the Bedrock edition, but it's quite buggy there. So I'm quite excited to see how it's implemented into the Java edition, which I'm guessing is going to be coming fairly soon.
Yeah.
And I really hope it does come soon. And there's another thing I am excited for. Is the hero of the village effect, how you get it and what it actually does. It's been implemented into Bedrock Edition with no actual use at the moment, but I'll be curious to see what that does. It's not a Java Edition just yet.
Yeah.
So
Sounds
what are
kind
your
of like the
favourite
opposite of
features?
so I was before I said that I was thinking it kind of reminds is that like the opposite of like the bad omen effect that we got like a while back with the raids that might be something to do with it.
Yeah, I think it's something along those lines. I think it's going to be something like that. So maybe when you
Yeah.
defeat a raid or something along those lines, you get this effect, and maybe. See, I don't know what the effect would then do. Would it unlock all the
Maybe
trades of all the
yeah.
villages, or
I was thinking kind of like that maybe like does something with the trades kind of makes it like more unlockable maybe in like a certain radius or something that makes the villagers happy and unlock them without you having to trade them like emeralds and stuff.
yeah? Because I mean, you have just
Yeah.
saved their entire existence from being destroyed by a raid, so they do owe
Yeah.
you something.
But yeah, my favorite feature as a builder obviously I really really, really like the new slabs and stairs. Andesite and stone, obviously a massive one for me. I also like the new walls. I think that's great. I think it's wonderful, especially since you've got all this like new variation. Because like before, when you were building with kind of maybe quartz, or no, sorry, not quartz, diorite or granite, obviously maybe not that diorite, but like granite or something, you were kind of like limited to what you could do with like shapes and stuff. You'd have to add in brick and stuff, which looked all right, kind of like an extra color of the contrast. But it's nice to have like each block almost having their own thing. I would have liked to see like concrete or terracotta, though. That's something that's kind of annoyed me, but I can kind of see why they haven't added that.
Yeah. I think there's a limit. I think they came up with a certain way of classing all the blocks, and I kind of see why they've done it, because I think there still is the more stuff they give us. I don't want to say it reduces creativity, but then if we don't have things, we have to find other ways around it, and that is quite of a nice way of going about things. You have to find another way of doing things.
I mean, other stuff that I would have liked, I know they're never going to add it, but kind of like maybe bark slabs and stuff, because right now with trees, you have to kind of use fences if you want to make small twigs, but if we had the option of maybe even a wall would be great, kind of add like a second like branch to it, which would that would definitely benefit making trees and stuff.
Yeah, I think unfortunately you might be lacking on that one, because I think their categorization for walls and fences was sort of the wooden things would get fences, and then stone things would get the walls. So I think you might be missing out on that one.
Yeah, but it would still be quite nice to have like that kind of extra detail you could add into trees, maybe even its own different block. But yeah, the new slabs and stairs is definitely going to be a game changer for builds and stuff like that. Because like when I was building the thing over at Communal in the world, when I was so annoyed, I was even thinking about waiting until 1.14 to get the granite stairs and stuff. I was like, you know, I want to get on with this. I'll do it, but it would have been so lovely and great to have the granite stairs there. So definitely something I'm looking forward to.
You're ready when the update releases.
Yeah.
Now I think for the next point we have, which is things that have let you down so far in this update, I think we both have the same point, which is scaffolding. And I think Orange is more against it than I am. I am open to it. I like it. But I see why it's been done like that. But then you're kind of like, why can't you just use dirt? Because you can't pillar out, what's it, 5 blocks? More than 5 blocks from the actual scaffolding?
I think they changed it to 7 actually now, which is still an improvement, but it's not good.
Exactly, yeah. And I like functionality, how it's a bit like ladders. I like how you can stand on the ground and just place on one, and it will go up to build limit or whatever. I like that functionality of it, because that is nice. It's a new way to move around. It is another transport mechanism, which I quite like. And I think it will be used in different ways. And one thing I haven't tested is if it works with mobs and if they can interact with it. I'm not sure how that works. I might have to mess around with that a bit later.
Yeah, because going back to what you said with things and like having secondary uses, I think the scaffolding will be used, but not for its main purpose. I think the actual purpose it was meant to be for, which was like building, kind of like instead of replacing dirt and all that for scaffolding, I think instead of it being used for that, I think it'll be used for like elevators as like another way for Minecraft elevators. I think it'll be used for designs and the furnitures, which is trying to be used for, because it's like looks just like a table.
Yes, yeah.
And I think hopefully it might, because it's easier to build, and also early game you're not gonna have a lot of iron for minecarts and stuff, and maybe you want to use ladders, but I think it's a bit cooler than ladders. I think.
Yes, yeah, it definitely is, and also it can be difficult to get hold of. I mean, you have to have found a bamboo jungle to actually get hold of any of it. But I guess once you have got that, farming it is so easy. It grows so quickly.
I mean, when Azuma made that farm, it's like, whoa, that's you get a lot of stuff really quickly, unlike sugarcane, which goes incredibly slowly, which would be nice if you could have bone meal sugarcane. That would be a lifesaver, because I've run out of sugarcane right now, so I need to build a farm. But definitely be lovely if you could bone meal sugarcane like you can bone meal bamboo, because that would definitely be very useful. I don't know, can you bone meal bamboo? I don't know, actually.
I believe you can.
Okay. Because I don't know, because I mean that's always useful. I think also bamboos, since you can place it in a flower pot, again, it's a nicer option than a cactus. It's kind of like the same shape and form, but it looks a bit neater. And also, if you're building Oriental Chinese inspired stuff, I think that also is great for that as well. But other things that have kind of let me down, I think, though, as well, talking about that still, I think the pillagers, I think when they first came out, I think they were cool. It was nice how you could find them. They were out in the open, and also it's amazing the fact you can make emerald farms. And I think that will be a game changer, meaning you don't have to like solely rely on like spending hours and hours trading with villagers to get your emeralds. Which
Now,
is
at this point, I actually disagree with you quite a bit. I really don't think it will be a game changer.
okay.
My reasoning behind that is because how inefficient they are. It is
Yeah.
so expensive to build them, and with very little profit. So yeah, I'm not. I don't think it is that much of a game changer in terms of farming them. Yeah,
Yeah. Because I think Razeworks built one and built one. I think he did get quite a lot of drops, but I don't know like if you have to build a perimeter or something like that, which again
yeah. I had
proves
a
it's
look at
like
that,
really
and
hard to
it's
build.
very complicated. And I feel like for something like the emerald, I like how it is the currency of the villagers, and to get it, you do have to do the trading with them. So yeah.
Yeah. Because I mean, like again, going into the fact that like emerald farms can be built, I think it's a nice option, you know, because like I don't know about you, but transporting villagers is probably the worst thing you can do when you're
I
making
can't agree
farms and stuff
more.
like that. So it's nice to know that if you don't really want to mess around with villagers too much, then you can kind of have that as a secondary option, even though it is a lot of work. It
Yes,
may
yeah.
be considered as like a bit less work if you're talking about like amount of time putting into doing all that stuff. Because I mean, like the pillagers themselves, I think if they didn't have that option of being out of that thing, I think that they're useful. I think they're a nice addition, but it would have been really nice if they kind of had their own like special drop or the special thing they did that kind of made you get like this new tiered kind of thing. It would be really nice if they had like a secondary option of being used for other things, you know, like
Yes.
attracting villagers or something like that. Because like I mean, talking about attracting villagers, I mean, it'd be amazing if you could actually lure them with emerald blocks, something like that, because that would save a lot of time with villager breeders. That's for sure.
That would be good. That would be good.
Yeah. So, like, any features that like you think have been like useless in this update, like anything that you found like, oh, okay, that's
Well, and I know I am going to say this to get a lot of angry comments, but and I know it's particularly it is going to be Uniten, but foxes, they're lovely and all, but I really don't care. I am not going to go out there looking for foxes, not because I'm a heartless person, just because I really there's nothing there's no reason for me to go out and find them. I go out and find one
yeah.
to find it doesn't want to like me, it runs away from me. I then tame it for its baby to like me, and then but what's the point? That it doesn't do it with a wolf or anything.
Yeah.
As far as I know, it doesn't have any special features like scare away mobs, like cats scare away creepers. Wolves will kill skeletons and is it undead mobs? I believe it's something along those lines.
Yeah.
But foxes are just they're like parrots. They're just another parrot. And yeah, what's your opinion on the whole thing?
I think foxes. I was originally, I was like, oh my goodness, they're awful. They're like awful. They're really bad. They're not useful. I still think they're not very useful. I think it would be still nice to have like, more useful features, but I think they've grown on me in like a tiny bit of the sense. I think now the fact, I mean, you can make automated chicken cookers.
I
With
have
the fact
seen
you can
that,
put like
and yeah,
fire aspect. I think that's really cool. But how useful it is when you can just use a normal one, I don't know. And then berry farms, Nintendo made a berry farm just to annoy me. He said, "Look, orange is what you can do," and I was like, "Yeah, but what's the point in berries? It's not even going to
again,
be
yeah.
using berries
I
for
mean,
anything."
it's another thing to farm, and I don't doubt that I will go and farm it.
Yeah.
But then again, there isn't much point for that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I mean, kind of farming flowers. It's nice the fact you can farm flowers. It's cool you can get dice from them, but how much do you really need? I guess it's the kind of thing.
I kind of disagree with you on that one. I like the whole new dyeing system. I like how it is universal basically now. I think that's a good feature. I'm not 100% sure really what the whole point was, but it's there and I can live with it.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to check right now, but I'm pretty sure they don't double up the dye. So if you put a lapis and you get two blue lapis dyes, blue dye back. Sorry, I get my words mixed up with the different dyes. But I think if that was the case, which I'm gonna look at right now, but if it isn't the case, I think it doesn't really add anything new. And I think it's nice how they've like universified it, but I don't really know if that's too good in a way.
But I like how now there are other ways to get blue dye from I believe, is it the cornflower?
Yeah, I made a cornflower farm. I have got that recorded. I could make a video on it. I don't know if I will, but I do have a cornflower farm. It's just a flower farm, but with cornflowers. So, yeah, and I have checked. It is you don't get two back, so it's not really very useful now. So yeah, I mean, like other things that would be quite useless. I think the kind of the barrel. I think is good. I like the barrel. I'm talking about new crafting blocks actually. But I don't know if Mumbo's talked about this. I'm pretty sure he did, but the fact that it'd be so good if you could, unlike because Chester entities, I don't think pistons push them. But it'd be amazing if barrels had the option that you could push them with pistons, meaning that you could kind of make that kind of stuff. I don't think you can. I can check right now. No, you still can't push them. But if you could,
Yeah,
I think that would be amazing. Definitely.
yeah. Barrels are an odd one. I don't really. The only use I can really think of them is you can open them without blocks above them, with blocks above them,
I think
which
that's
is
good.
kind of a use. But I'm kind of wondering if the main reason for them being added was just a decorative item for the village, and I think it does look nice and better than a chest in a village. But it would be nice if there was some properties to it which made it made you really want to use it. So it might have only be able to store one item, or has some kind of special system. I can't think off the top of my head. So maybe you put one item in it and it will only store that item, which can be useful in different sort of storage situations when you're building storage systems for farms and got lots of different items coming in. And it could be a sorter or of some kind. I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wish it had a little bit more functionality to it rather than just a chest which you can open with a block above it.
Well, talking about the crafting blocks, any ones that you really like? I really like the loom. I think I really like the grindstone. Those are really nice ones. I think. Other ones I really like. I think the actual cartography table. I don't think that's very useful. I think it's nice how you can lock maps, but like most people play single player, so that's not like people going to go around trolling them, taking their maps and drawing things on them. So
I
yeah,
think
I
the
don't
idea
think
for
that's
that as well is if you want it. So let's say you take a map of your base when you first begin in a world,
yeah.
and then you can lock that so you don't accidentally update it, which I think is kind of the idea behind that. I don't think it's just to prevent from griefers.
I think I was a bit disappointed the fact that it didn't do anything, because I was expecting it to be taking up less paper to make maps like different sizes and stuff, but I don't think that's the case. So that is a bit annoying how they did that. But other things I like, I think the lectern's really nice. I really like the lectern. That's quite cool. It's got really nice redstone functionality.
Yes,
I don't. Yeah. But the grindstone, no, not the grindstone. I talked about that one. The what's it called again? The I need to just think about this one. The sun cutter, that's it. I think that's cool and all, but like once you go past early game, when you have like enough resources, you got to really think and stuff. How useful is it actually?
Yeah. Well, it is useful because of the less amount of resources, and it kind of I was quite shocked when it first added in, to be honest, because I remember it from back in the day because I started off playing Bedrock Edition, and it shocked me when I saw it. I was like, really? Have they actually added it back? I was shocked because it has changed up the whole crafting system, and I didn't really see the exact purpose for that. I don't know if there was, and again, we still haven't seen the villager AI, which we're expecting, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later on. But that's something I've been wanting for a long time, but we still haven't seen, which is in a way kind of worrying because they have said they're in the polishing and fixing stage of this update.
Yeah.
But we still haven't seen some of these major features which we're expecting for this update. It's a bit odd.
Yeah, because I felt the same when 1.13 came out, because I think it was around just about pretty much this time last year. Actually, we had quite a lot of the features out, a lot of them was done, but I was kind of feeling like, I wish this kind of had a lot more features than it did. And then around this time, they kind of delayed it, and we got like all the new stuff, like the conduit, we got the trident, all that. So all that added bonus stuff that I wasn't expecting, but we got. But I'm getting quite worried with the fact that this is all there is to offer in this update, and there's not much else that's going to come.
Yes, yeah, yeah. I'm not sure how long. My guess, well, my hope as well, is that this bug fixing and polishing stage of the update is going to be a longer bug fixing and polishing stage, because I mean everyone was super happy when 1.13 came out, but then again it did take a long time, and that did take a bit too long to start, and I think Mojang have realised that, and I think they are hoping not to try and have that happen again. But then again, I'd rather they take a longer time to release an update than they do pumping updates every other week and have them full of bugs and not that many features.
But what I don't know is the fact that when this is going to come out, how's it going to correlate with this new thing they can do with 2 updates a year? So, what we originally used to was having, like, obviously we're on a server, and the same with OmathaCraft. They're used to having, and we're used to having, like, updating every year or whatever, when there's a new update, because we know there'll be at least one new update every year, and we can kind of work around that. But now that we've got 2, it kind of confuses things, because I mean, we're planning on like a summer kind of reset, and that probably might be like halfway through when 1.14's out and stuff like that, and then I don't know when we're getting news on 1.15, and I don't know when it's coming out. I mean, I imagine maybe we might get news at E3, but we didn't get any last year. News to do with Minecraft. I don't know if they're still doing that. So I'm hoping that we'll get news at E3 about 1.15, and then we'll have 1.14 before E3. We'll get news about 1.15 at E3, and then we'll maybe get like a Christmas release date for 1.15. I think that's probably going to work out well.
My guess is there wouldn't be any news released at E3, as far as I know, they haven't tended to done that before. It has been their own news release, and that tends to be at Minecon. So I'm guessing what we'd expect to see is maybe some snapshots before Minecon, which tends to be September, October time. So if we assume 1.14 will release maybe April, May time, we then have time where the devs are probably working all these new features, brainstorming new ideas, and then I'm guessing around Minecon we'll actually find out the full update for 1.14. But then again, we might be into the cycle where it is just an every year update. In regards to servers and everything, I've been running a server for coming up to 2 years now, and the way we decide to reset, we don't tend to do it around updates unless it is super major to the terrain generation. So it can be difficult. So let's say 1.15 decides to be really difficult, and let's say a massive nether update. The whole nether's changed, new structures, new buildings, the whole lot. Then we would have a bit of an issue. And if we, let's say, had reset at the start of 1.14, we obviously wouldn't want to reset because we don't want a 3-month-old server. So I like it. I like how they're doing the updates, and I do wish they would reach this 2 updates a year, but I doubt that's actually going to happen. I don't think that's actually going to happen. I think it will just be the one major update a year.
I mean, I was listening to Nintendo's podcast the other day, and he was talking about something Helen Angel was talking about, like a reductant, something like that update.
I am going to talk about that a bit later on.
Right,
so hold that point.
But next up, we're going to talk about what we like about the new kind of mobs and stuff, and what we don't like. So the new mobs, the Wandering Trader, the Ravager, and this is the hostile, like other than the animals, the mobs. So that's the Ravager and the Wandering Trader and the Wandering Llama. I think that's what. Those three mobs.
I'm not sure, to be honest. I'm not a massive fan of the Wandering Trader at all, really. It doesn't have great mechanics. It will spawn in once in your world. It could be anywhere in your world, and then whatever you do to it, you could name tag it, you could anything to stop it despawning. It will still despawn after a certain amount of time. And the trades aren't amazing. The trades aren't great with it. A bucket of fish, that's cool, but it's expensive for something that's not going to last for a long time. It has made some things renewable. I believe sand and gravel can be traded with it, but then again, it goes after a certain amount of time, and and they're really rare anyway, so it's very, very difficult.
I heard they were talking about this on the Spawn Chunks actually. That Tanner Pearson tweeted out. He was saying the fact that he understands that people aren't very happy with it, but the idea of it was kind of for newer players that kind of don't play for the technical aspect. They don't play for the fact they want everything renewable and all that. They explore the world. They're not really doing much. And they kind of get an idea on what's out there, so they can look and see what he's trading, and they can go, ooh, I've got a few of these now, but I want more, so you can go out and explore. I think that's what it's meant for.
Okay, yeah. That kind of makes sense. And as I am speaking for person who's been playing for quite a long time in this game, yeah, I can see where that comes from. And sometimes you do have to take a step back and work out the direct reasons for these reasons. So yeah, that's really interesting to hear.
Because like quite a lot of these features are like coming from our standpoint as people that don't play the game casually. We're in it for the end game, and
Yeah.
we kind of forget about the fact that there are players out there that would dream about having elytras and full diamond armor and loads of these resources that we have lots of now.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so next we're
yeah.
going to move on to the new textures and about them. So personally, for me, I'm a big fan of them, and we've been hearing about these textures for quite a while. I think it was early 2018, late 2017 we first heard about them, and now we fully know they are being released in 1.14. It's quite interesting. I've been playing with them probably for a good year now, and I haven't gone back, and I really enjoyed them. There is nothing that sticks out to me like a massive sore thumb that desperately needs to change. I love Obsidian. I love the new Obsidian texture. Go play on the new texture pack for a while. Go back, have a look at Obsidian, and just you'll want to go straight back. You'll be running back to the new one. It's amazing. But there is one that bugs me is the skeleton horse texture. It looks too plasticky.
Yeah, I think quite a lot of new textures are really plasticky.
Yeah.
Now.
And I just found it. It was only recently released, and I just saw it and I was like, oh, yeah, too plasticky. And I mean, it's only connected by 2 pixels to the back of its legs, which is a bit odd. I have to lie. That makes no sense. But yeah, I'm not 100% sure on that texture. I think it could do a little bit of modifying.
Yeah, his eyes are really large. I think that might add to it. But I can talk from experience, actually, of going back and looking at the old textures, playing them for about a week, and then going back to new ones. This was about the same time I was doing your landscaping order, and I was like, you know what? I think this would benefit from me going back and looking at the old textures to see what this looks like. And yeah, I was correct in the fact that, yes, it does look better. From someone that does a lot of landscaping, I think the old textures benefit that, but I think some of the new textures, are way too good to miss out on. So like the bricks, the new granite, new diorite, all these textures and the gravel actually as well, thinking about it, all these new textures that have been added, I think there's way too many positives in the new ones to outweigh the preferable old textures. Because I was looking back and I was like, I prefer the cobble, I prefer the andesite, I prefer the leaves, but there's not much else after that. I mean, it'd be lovely to have those in it, but I think I'm going to stay with the new ones because there's way too many good ones that I'm going to miss out on. I'm going to be like, oh, I could really do with that as well. So yeah, that's probably why I'm going to stay with the ones.
Yeah, and I think it does take you a little while to get used to them, but once you have got used to them, I can't imagine going back. I really can't, and I really enjoy them.
Yeah, I can't remember when the new textures actually added in. Because I got my new computer around June time, so I can't remember actually when they were added. I think it might have been added in my hiatus.
Early 2018 or it was late 2017.
Yeah, so I probably think the first time I played them was like June time then, I think, because I got a new computer around that time because my old was broken. So yeah, so I hadn't had a chance to play with this, which is quite nice. Going and having a look at these new ones because they're the default ones on our server, so I think I kind of have to use them as well. A few people don't use them. I think Nintendo doesn't use them, but I think it definitely benefits from using them, even if you don't like them on servers, because like you can get an idea on what other people are building.
Would you make any changes to the pack?
Yes, I would. I would change the stone. Actually, no, I like stone. Sorry, the cobble. I think something about the cobble that I don't like. I think it's good, but there's just something about it. I can't place my finger on it. It doesn't seem right. I think it's a bit too bubbly still. I think it needs to be a bit more harder and all that. I think the planks are in a good place, but I think they'd they just need a tiny bit less 3D-ness, just so they kind of look a bit more like weathered down. Andesite, I love the new andesite, but I prefer the old one, so I'd like to kind of have like a bit more kind of that darkish grey colour, because right now it's really light and got types of yellow in, so it's so I think I prefer the old andesite, but I'm happy to stay with the new one. The pack compressed ice, I preferred the actual old compressed ice that we had before it had the text change. So that was version 3.3.0, something like that. The one before they changed it again. So I think I prefer that one. But apart also the oak leaves, I prefer the oak leaves and the old birch leaves. But I think I like the new birch leaves, but oak leaves, definitely I'd prefer the old ones. But yeah, that's it pretty much. Apart from that, I really love the new ones.
Yeah.
What about you? Any ones that you'd change?
There is only one that I change, apart from the skeleton horse, which is one I would like to change. Is the mushroom block textures. They really bug me. They don't look right. It really doesn't look right, personally. If you look at mycelium, it has quite a bit of texture to it, whereas these don't. And I have Minecraft open at the time of recording, and I just know. I just know. It just doesn't work. That I think they remind me of plasticine.
Yeah.
When I first saw them, I thought of plasticine, and I haven't thought about that not since. They
yeah. I think if there's any changes I make to the mushroom blocks, I think the red one, I think it's kind of one of those textures where like you'd like to see them change like the sponge, but then they're kind of not meant to be for building or anything like that. But one I probably would change is the brown one. I think if they change it so it's slightly more the same kind of tone as dirt, so you could kind of mix it in with dirt. I think it actually already still kind of looks alright, but I think if they kind of made it a little bit darker, I think that would work really well.
Yes, yeah.
But apart from that, I think the mushroom blocks are alright. I don't know. Again, it's one of those blocks you can't really have an opinion on when you don't really use it and stuff like that.
Exactly, yeah.
This is one I kind of get. This is just an idea that's popped into my head. See, bedrock's one of those ones you never see really. Okay, so you're never going to be out in the open. You're never going to be using it in survival. So, what I don't see is why they don't make it a block that looks like something you could blend in creative mode. So when you're building, like it could be retextured something that would work wonderfully with other builds. Because in creative mode you can actually use bedrock for building, but there's like nothing it goes well with really unless you're using pixel art. So I think it'd be bedrock's kind of like a blank slate for them. They can do whatever they want with it, and then preferably something that would be good. So when you're in creative mode, you have a secondary option of like a building block. So I think that'd be a really nice idea for bedrock actually.
Yeah. Are there any old textures you would have liked to keep?
I think we've already talked about this one actually, the andesite and the oak leaves and stuff like that. But the new one, talking about the old textures still before we move on to 1.15, I think we're talking about next actually. What I'd like to see, I think textures that haven't been changed. Oh wait, see, I thought I forgot they changed the stained glass. Next one about flowers. I think it'd be nice to see them giving flowers a bit of an update. I know they've changed them around a little bit, but I still think it'd be nice to give them a little bit more detail. But apart from that, I think that's it. Other than infested stones and stuff, it'd be nice to give them a little bit of a different texture so you can use them as like another grey block or whatever. But apart from that, there's nothing else I need to say about the new textures.
One thing I'd like to see go back to the old one is prismarine. I preferred the old prismarine just compared to the new one, and that's all there is, to be honest. But yeah, there was something about the old one. I quite liked it. I think it worked well underwater. I quite liked it with the old seagrass and kelp growing all over it. I mean, it's all right. It's livable. I quite like it, but I think I'm more of a fan of the older one than I am of this one.
Because like the only time I use prismarine, I think, other than like underwater builds, is it works beautifully with sandstone. So I think it's all right in that sense. I think if they change it to be more like kind of less bubbly like sandstone, same with cobble, I think they've done well with sandstone, the fact that it's new and it looks better, but it's not as bubbly. So I think if they could change sandstone and cobble to the way, prismarine and cobble to the way sandstone is, I think I'd be happy with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we can talk about 1.15 now. Any thoughts and feelings and all that. So yeah, talk about that.
Okay. So for 1.15, we've neither of me and Orange have spoken to each other about this, so I've no clue what Orange is going to say. But we have both, I think, jotted down some predictions, some ideas, and what we'd like to see. If that's new mobs, new farming mechanics. So Orange, what do you think might be coming?
Well, let's just say what I'm thinking now. Say what I want. So what I think will happen is it will be. Obviously, I think we'll get the savannah as well. That'll be incorporated in as well. I think that'd be good. Like we got the tiger with the village and pillage. But apart from that, I think we'll be getting cave update. Okay, that's what I think we'll be getting. Because I mean, they've hinted at it, and I thought 1.14 would be the cave update, but we didn't get that. So yeah, but in my honest opinion, I would rather have a nether update than a cave update. I think I was actually commenting Nintendo's comments the other day, saying that I think I'm not excited for the new immersion of the caves because like I do strip mining most of the time. It's more efficient, so I'd never really look in them too much. It'd be awesome to see them change, but
I think if there was some kind of update to the caves, I think it would bring back some of that exploration into the game,
yeah.
which a lot of people have lost just because, or maybe there's a way that the ores that spawn in can only be found in caves, so you can't strip mine to find them. So let's say a new ore is added, it can only be found when it's surfaced. So it has to be found in a cave. If it's not found in a cave, you won't be able to dig and find it, which might be an interesting mechanic, meaning people have to explore caves and that kind of thing. And I'd be quite interested to see something like that brought into the game.
If we're going along the routes of a cave update, the Quark mod, it has lots of new cave features. If you've ever used the mod, I've used it a couple of times, and it adds new stones. It adds limestone, it adds marble, and they are beautiful. I love them. They're really nice. They're great. Limestone in particular looks really pretty, as well as they also add like crystals, so it's kind of like stained glass, but they glow and they don't have like little lines in. So it's it's kind of like, imagine making like a church or whatever. That's the first thing that comes into my head when I think about stained glass. And then you could put that in instead of stained glass, and it would glow. So it'd be another option for lighting, which is something I think Cubfan is very passionate about. I think a lot of people would be very happy if they did.
If anyone listening has not seen Cubfan's recent video on the lighting and his ideas for it, I'd highly recommend checking that out, as that is very worthwhile. And it comes up some really interesting suggestions and really comments on why lighting is not great in the game whatsoever. Personally, I think my predictions, well, we can definitely confirm that there will be a desert and savannah update. So I'm looking forward to seeing those. I'd like to see the ostrich and was it the meerkat don't turn into another fox. That would annoy me a bit. It'd be nice if there was some functionality to that. I prefer that a bit more than just having another fox, another ambient mob, and there'll be nice ambient mobs and stuff. But for what they are, I think it'd be nice to have something a bit more about them, like the panda, which has a little bit more about it.
I'm talking about the Savannah update and the update. I'm more excited for the Savannah. If we can get a new tree type out, the bow tree.
I think they have already said that would be acacia wood still.
Oh, okay. I think that's cool, but I'm quite excited for termites, actually. I think, although they're kind of a bit silly, like bats in a way, but I think the bats with functionality, the ambient, they're not very useful, but I think termites have potential for being incredibly cool for gameplay features. I think if you could get these new infested blocks, or they had an option of getting rid of blocks without you having to break them, that would definitely
I think there is
incredible.
Some amazing possibilities for that, and I cannot wait to see actually what happens with all that. Because I think there are some really big possibilities of the route Mojang could go down, and it could be one of many different routes which Mojang could go down, and I'm really curious to see what happens with that entire update.
See, because I think meerkats, I think they will go down the route of foxes, but I'm hoping, I'm keeping my fingers crossed that Mojang will listen to the technical players and give termites kind of more technical use than meerkats probably will. I think meerkats will just be like foxes, but like I think they'll be desert foxes, like we got Arctic foxes. They'll jump around, they'll dig themselves into dirt, and they'll hide. Wait a minute,
that'd be interesting.
Aren't we? Forgot about ostriches. I think they will be like foxes. So that's why I'm voting for Savannah. That's why I voted for Savannah. Sorry.
Yeah. Hashtag vote Savannah.
Hashtag we voted Savannah. But yeah, I think Savannah's will be more. I think they're coming second, right? I think they are, which would be good.
They'll both be coming at the same time.
All right, okay. So I'm more excited for Savannah then, because we get 2 new mobs. Even if the ostrich won't be useful, I think if it has the option of being rideable, that's kind of cool. Even if the fact you can ride pigs and horses isn't very useful, it's cool that you can do it. I mean, like,
yeah, I'd like to see that they lay massive eggs. If they lay massive ostrich eggs, cool. If you've never seen them, they are gigantic. They're huge. And I quite like them to see that, and you just come across this like dragon egg kind of size model, even if it was the same model but textured differently. I think it'd be really interesting to see.
It would be like a turtle egg but bigger as well, so we'd have kind of like another option. And then if they, which would be lovely if they kind of went down the same route as the turtle, is they didn't drop anything, but by hatching their eggs and doing something with the offspring, you could get like a new drop or new thing that'd be useful. That'd be really cool, I think.
Yes, yeah.
So talking about more about like the actual update, is there any kind of features that you think they're going to add other than the ones we kind of know are coming, which is the desert?
At the moment, I can't be sure, but another
Mm-hmm.
prediction I have, and it's more of a confirmed prediction, which Orange mentioned
Mm-hmm.
earlier in the podcast, which is the retracted update. There have been a lot of hints all over Twitter from all of the Minecraft devs about this update that they are working on called the retracted update. We have no information whatsoever of what that could be. But it also means we know there is an update coming which isn't titled at the moment, which means it might not even be classified as 1.15. It might come before
Mm-hmm.
that, it might come after it, and it might not even be, I'm guessing it will be numbered, depending on where it
Yeah.
comes in. But my prediction is that we have 1.15 they have planned out, and then they have the retracted update planned out separately. What that could be, it could. Who knows? It might be Minecraft 2.0. Who knows?
So yeah, talking about the retracted update, I think we'll go each of our opinion on what I think will be. So, do you want to go first, or should I go first?
I can only hope. This is what I'm really hoping. I'm hoping that it is the Sky Dimension update, and this was something that was, I think, Notch featured, and he was working on or planning on working on at one point.
Mm-hmm.
That was the Sky Dimension, and I think it was when you slept, you go to this floating dimension in the sky, or there'd be some sort of mechanic which takes you up there, and it's just massive floating islands, which I think would be really, really cool. Just a new dimension up in the sky, which you could only access by sleeping at night, and you'd be taken back when it becomes day, which I thought that would be so cool with new different mobs. And at one point I think it was also known as Heaven. It could be the Heaven update, because the Nether is the so-called Hell update, and it used to, in the F3 screen in the Nether, say Hell, which might have been a little bit of a planning before that, but then all the biomes got renamed in 1.13, so it's no longer called that, it's just called the Nether. So I would love to see the Sky update or something along those lines.
See, I used to. I think it was like last year. It was a couple of years ago. I used to really want a Sky update. I was like, oh, that'd be so cool. But now thinking about it, I think it'd be awesome. But I think coming from a Minecraft developer point of view, I think they'll be wanting to update the Nether and the End first. I think 1.9 was an End update, but I think compared to, like, if you think what they do with the 1.13, like, oceans are incredible now, but End is still, the End is, they got End cities and chorus plants, and that's it. Even though
the End is very barren.
I think it'd be really good if they updated the End and the Nether first. But what I'm talking about instead of that, I'm talking about what I actually think the retracted update will be, and I think the retracted update will be kind of like a feature update full of features that are kind of community suggested. So I know this is, I can't remember when this was. This is a while ago, but next update, I think this was 1.14. They're talking about 1.13. Honestly, this was before then. The developers were thinking about doing an update where they go through the Reddit and they do the top most suggested features and they put them into an update. So that's my thing. That's what I think the retracted update will be. In my opinion, I think it'll be an update with all community suggested ideas, and I think that if that's the case, I think we can get some really interesting ideas, because I think some of the coolest things we've got, actually, not the coolest things, but some really interesting things we've got in this update is the fact that the first snapshot, we got community suggested ideas. We got the fact that you can make automated sheep farms now, which is amazing. We got the fact that you can make chorus plant farms out of arrows. I mean, it's not very useful, but it's cool in the fact that you can do that. And I think leaves also drop sticks now. So, I mean, just some stuff like that. Lots and lots of small community suggested ideas that may not be massive, but in terms of the actual game, it will affect it greatly. And I mean, there's so many more options in what you can do.
Now, one reason I might think that might possibly not be coming is because I've heard that the every month the devs sit down and they read through all the top suggestions in the Minecraft feedback site, and any ones that they do like and agree with, they put on a list, and that list often comes into the game, like the sheep's, the chorus fruit popping off with arrows. So I'm not sure whether that could become an entire update. Maybe they've sat down and right, this is going to be part of the retracted update. This is going to be part of just 1.13. So that might confuse me a little bit, just because of they have already added some community suggested things, not in the community suggested update.
Because that makes sense, but I think the video I watched did mention the fact that it would be an update all itself. I don't know if it's still going ahead. It might just be for Bedrock, the retracted update. I don't think that will be the case, but if it is, then that might be the case, because I mean, it would make sense in the fact that they confuse them when it might be releasing it, and the fact it's not the same as update is like 1.14 and all that. But yeah, I think there's a chance it might be for Bedrock, but I don't think that'll be the case. But if it does come out, I think it will be for other things and all that, instead of kind of like maybe just like it in itself, its own thing.
I don't think it would just be for Bedrock. The main reason because of that is because they want to unify the game, and as far as I know, Java devs have also been tweeting about it. So that wouldn't really make any sense for them to be tweeting about something that's only coming to Bedrock. And I really think that would really annoy a lot of other players in the Java community if they just release a specific update, which I really doubt that will happen.
I think in terms of what my other also ideas what it might be, you said the sky. I've said kind of community suggested ideas. We've also said caves as well, but also with getting other biomes that they're talking. They said they wanted to update every biome in the game. We've currently done the taiga, we've done the what we've done we've done the taiga, we've done the oceans, and we're going to do the savannah and the desert. So it'd be interesting if they did kind of like a whole all-rounded kind of update change and stuff. So they did the mesa, they did the jungle, they did lots of different biomes all in one update. That'd be really cool.
And even the jungle, you could say, has been done in this update with the pandas, bamboo, and all that kind of stuff.
I think it would be nice to get more generated structures in the game. We haven't got any major ones. I mean, we've got the villager outpost, but that's it. I think new generated structures would be really nice. We got the bunch of new ones in the update aquatic. We've only got one in this one, but also things that would be nice to update new structures. I think updating the Guardian Temple will be definitely loved by lots of players. I think the fact that you get no real things from it other than sponges and the option of making a Guardian farm, I think it could really do with like its own treasuring. So you can, I mean, the end has the Elytra. I mean, the Nether has a bunch of stuff. It has like a huge thing. It's got the Wither Skills. It's got options of brewing. It's got all that stuff. I think it'd be really nice if the Guardian Temple got an update. That'd be really cool.
Yeah. Is there any particular mobs you'd like to see in in the future? Any new update?
See, I don't really know about mobs because it's a weird thing. Because obviously, probably when you were younger, when you were playing Minecraft, all you wanted was like you wanted like ostriches, you wanted elephants, you wanted crocodiles, all that kind of stuff. But now you're not really too fussed about that kind of stuff. So it's quite a hard question. But I'd probably say it would be really nice to get some new mobs in the kind of the ice spikes biome and the icebergs, kind of like I prefer if they got more kind of Minecraft mobs like the Phantom and stuff like that instead of existing real world mobs. So we got like a kind of like a boss or something, maybe not a boss, but like a cool new ice monster that was lived in the ice spikes biome. The Yeti, yeah, something like that. That'd be really cool because it's kind of Yeti already exists. It doesn't exist unless you go into the conspiracy theories, but we're not going to do that. But yeah, Yetis don't really exist in the real world, but they're kind of myths and stuff. It'd be really nice to get like more beasts and stuff like thinking about that actually, the red dragon, that'd be so cool.
Yeah, bring on the red dragon. Dinnerbone will be so happy when that happens. That is the retracted update. It's just Dinnerbone's update.
Yeah, because I mean, Dinnerbone's been getting a lot of stuff he wanted. He's got his pandas. He's got his lectern.
Yeah.
So it's time for the red dragon, I think.
Yeah,
really nice.
Bring on the red dragon. Personally, I quite like to see some new flying mobs in the game. And since the Phantom's been released, I mean, the Phantom, its AI it works, but it's odd, which I think is the best way to put it. But yeah, I would quite like to see some more flying mobs in the game. I think now they've got the Phantom in the game, the first proper flying mob apart from the bat. It'd be nice to see some more life in the skies. That is another reason I would think there might be a sky update just to bring some life to the skies a little bit more.
Because, I mean, again, the sky update would be an interesting idea, but you got to think how much can you add to the sky before it starts becoming the Aether mod. You don't want to add so much to the sky that it's pretty much the Aether mod, and it kind of steers away from Minecraft. I think with the sky update, they got to get it right instead of because it's adding like a completely new dimension.
it would turn into another dimension, which I don't. I maybe see that more as a long-term update, but it's something I still would really like to see in the game.
But I'd definitely like to see the Nether updated as well. That'd be really good. I think 1.14 and 1.13 one updates. People wanted people were expecting it's going to be another update. I don't think that happened, but I think the Nether update is still probably an idea they have in their mind. They want that in the game. I think quite a lot of people want Nether update.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, we had the option of a Nether update with Blaze mob, but I think I can say for most people it wasn't very good. It was just a more annoying Blaze, because Blaze aren't annoying anymore as they are.
Okay, so that is it for today's podcast. Thank you, Orange, for inviting me to do this with you. It's been a really good laugh. And yeah, I think that's it. And thank you for watching. I can be found over on my channel, and Orange can be found on his channel. Links down in the description. We'll see you in the next podcast.
Goodbye everyone.